Hi, this is the first homework assignment, page 192, question number 8. And what we have to do here is find the local extrema, find the intervals on which the function is increasing and decreasing. And so if you remember a couple of days ago, we did that by looking at a function and finding its critical values. So let's go ahead and write the function up here. F of x is equal to x to the fourth minus 10x squared plus 9. Okay, and the way to find the critical, or the way to find the places of maxes and mins, we've got to look at the critical values. Find the critical values, you find the derivative and set it equal to 0. Because the maxes and mins are the places where the derivative is equal to 0. Okay, now remember that just because we have a critical value doesn't mean that we have a min or a max. We're going to have to do a little bit more investigation to confirm that first. Now that I have the derivative, let's go ahead and figure out where it's equal to 0. So I can factor out a 4x, and I get x squared plus or minus 5 left over equals 0. Now let's fix that up. There. Equals 0. So that means x has to be 0, or x has to be plus or minus the square root of 5. And if you don't believe me, you can go ahead and stop the video and then just figure that part out right there real quick. So what we have then are three critical values, one at x, one at 0, one at negative square root of 5, and one at positive square root of 5. So in order to figure out if we have mins or maxes, we have to investigate what's going on with the derivative as we approach each of these critical values. And so, if you remember right, what we need to do is divide our domain up into sections, and the sections are going to be determined by where those critical values are. So if I write my sign chart, let me write the domain first. There's negative infinity, there's positive infinity, there's 0, negative square root of 5, positive square root of 5. Okay, so we've got four sections in our domain that we need to investigate. So I'm going to go ahead and make a sign chart. Sign charts are really powerful tools. Always remember them. You'll probably have to use one on the AP test. And so our domain's divided up into four sections. Okay, now we'll take the derivative and look at each of the factors of the derivative. And we'll figure out if the derivative, or the factors of the derivative, are positive or negative in each of these ranges, each of these parts of the domain. So I'm going to go ahead and divide that up. If x is between negative infinity and negative square root of 5, 4 times x has to be negative. Put a negative there, and a positive there, and a positive there. And if you don't believe me, or if I went too fast in there, just stop the video and think about it. Or if you have trouble with the smoke and mirrors stuff, just take a number in this range and plug it in and see what sign you get. If I take a number between negative infinity and negative square root of 5 and plug it into the second factor, the x squared will always give me a number greater than 5. If I subtract it from 5, I get a positive number. And so this is how you fill in the second factor. Now let's put them together. 4x times x squared minus 5. If you multiply these two, you get a negative, a positive, a negative, a positive. Okay, now, what does that negative derivative tell you about the function in this region? It has to be decreasing. The function's going down. In this region, the function's going up. Now, if a function goes down and then it goes up, what do you get? Besides a goofy looking happy face with arrows for eyes. You have a minimum. Sorry, I'm just funny sometimes. That has to be decreasing. Sam's watching. So that means if the function's going up and then it's going down, you have to have a maximum right here.
Side function.
Here the function's increasing, so you have a minimum right there. And you figured it out. Now you know where the function's decreasing in this region here and this region here, where it's increasing here and here, and where the mins and the maxes are. Okay, we're going to be doing this a lot, so make sure you understand this because this is coming up quite a bit over the next several weeks. So we'll see you later. Bye.